So yes, we went out on the van patrol, and there's this bloke staggering down the street. It was actually in Pentonville Road. He'd just come out of the Scottish Stores in Caledonian Road, and he's making his way all wobbly up Pentonville Road. And the van driver said, "There, David, there's one." So when you start putting them in the van, they can be a bit stroppy. So eventually he got heaved in and sit him down, and you get 2 or 3 of them. So it's got 3 or 4 of us in there. We have 3 or 4 drunks.
And we didn't call Euston Road the Euston Road, we called it the River Jordan. Now I'm going to cross the River Jordan and go down Somers Town.
And they'd say, "You did quite well at Hendon, I see, Starkey, and we're sending you to King's Cross Road," which meant absolutely nothing to me at all. In fact, I didn't even know where King's Cross was. Even the station I didn't know.
One Sunday, one of the ladies that was training us told me I had a family and gave me the fare to be able to get to King's Cross. And as I came up the underground, I met a little girl who was swinging on the railings and asked her if she knew where Mrs. Piper lived. And she said that she would take me to her. "There's a lady at the door to see you." And my grandmother came out and she said, "Yes, who are you?" And I just burst out crying and I said, "I'm Thelma."
But round about 1923 or 4, they pulled them down and put holdings up. And the holdings were up for about 6 or 7 years before they built a town hall. It was our gang headquarters. And so we used to get into the ruin by going down the coal cellar. Occasionally there was trouble because once we built a bonfire and the police came. And we lost a wonderful playground when they built the town hall.
Always had a bad reputation. You were never proud to say I live in King's Cross.
Fights, that's the one thing I can remember of King's Cross. Always fights up there, non-stop, with the alcoholics, the drug people. As far as I'm concerned, I never had a laugh when I lived in King's Cross.
We usually a bit scared to go round to Cromer Street, but if you went to Cromer Street, you were automatically looked upon as an intruder. If you weren't careful, you might be attacked. But we had to go sometimes because in Cromer Street there was a cook shop, and a lot of our food was bought from that cook shop.
Round the corner where the white shop is, which used to be a butcher's, I think they used to do decorating and all kinds of things, and they had a great big iron hook hanging out of the wall. In the old days, when the circuses used to come, they used to bring all the elephants and things down the cobblestones there, and they used to unload the elephants with the big hook that hung out the wall.
you'd have people nicking from the goods yard, and they stash it away somewhere, and they'd see a bloke at the coffee stall interested in some shirts, interested in some stockings, and all this sort of thing. And they'd take you up there, show you where they were, do a deal, and you took them away.
The police, they're at the house. They're actually in the house.
I know.
But what are you? Where are the others? Hmm?
The bogies brought it home for her. What did you expect?
I have to laugh when the people say, cool, not like the old days, we could leave our front door open. Well, of course you could leave it open, you had nothing there to pinch.
You know, no one would bring their kids up in King's Cross. It was a drug-filled, prostitutes hanging out on every corner. That was how people perceived it. I don't think people perceived it as a particularly violent necessarily area, but it was full of vice.
If I could choose how I died, then it would be during a Russ Meyer triple bill at the Scala. It was rough and ready. The lights never went up, so you could never quite see what you were sitting in. There was always sex there in the auditorium as well as on the screen, in the back row, in the projection box, in the toilet.
And it was a lovely summer's day, and these guys were up these ladders up there, and suddenly I saw this thing, woof, like a leaf falling in autumn, and it was a piece of 8x4 swooping down. They'd blown off the roof up there. They were trying to put it in, and it landed right on top of this Riley motor car.
It's dying by the town hall, in ruin and decay. Where the picture palace stood, now it's like an old ashtray. I've seen it on my journeys, full of tins and cans, dressed up like a prison, some genius's plan. That's the pond by the old schoolyard, the pond by the new town hall. I think it was people never really understood King's Cross. I think they just felt it was kind of because of prostitutes and train stations and transit.
It always had a bad reputation. You were never proud to say I live in King's Cross.
Or I'd be walking up on the platform, can I carry your luggage, mister? Carry your bag. Anything to get a couple. Weaseling, yeah. They work as a porter, doing the newspapers and loading the vans, but then they used to do a bit of weaseling, meet a taxi, take the luggage with them, a trolley, all that sort of thing. Anything to get money.
There was one murder at the back of King's Cross.
Now, Harry the gun. Right. Thank you.
And you just think, of all the time I've been at King's Cross, that's the only time I can think of anything near King's Cross which led to anybody being killed illegally, murdered or whatever they call it. I don't even remember a fatal accident down there. The old boy had been out down to the pub, the night watchman, left the site, and it had snowed when they came out, about 1 o'clock in the morning. He'd gone back with another man. They went into the compound, which was all wire netting all round, and inside that was the night watchman's hut. When the early guy came in, he couldn't get in. He had to go over the gate. He was found dead in his little hut. And he'd been strangled by somebody. We don't know who. Never was found.
She could have shocked us all. This silly old...
What you knocking her for? She done it, didn't she?
We're nearly home, Louis. What can possibly go wrong now? Mrs. Wilberforce?
Yes?
I understand you have rooms to let. Good evening, Major Courtney.
Good evening, Professor.
There's only Mr. Harvey to come. I think perhaps we might go upstairs.
Yes, yes.
Good evening, Mr. Harvey. It is Mr. Harvey, isn't it?
Yes, it is Mr. Harvey. Come in, come in. The others are all here.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's nothing, Mum. Just to let you know, we sorted out all that rumpus. You'll not be wanted. I won't come in. You're quite sure you're all right, Mrs. Wilbur?
Of course.
Down the Midland Road, we could see them standing in clusters. And, you know, some of the boys used to shout rude things at them and they'd swear back. And some of the boys say, yeah, let's have a look at it, you know, things like that, which got on their nerves. And you little bastard, come here, I'll give you one round the ear, you know.
I felt there was quite a nice communal atmosphere because there were quite a few people who were definitely into making the place better, and there was a bit of a tenants association that developed. But it was pretty derelict. The flats were habitable but drafty, rotten window frames, an ancient gas heater that every now and then it would shoot this enormous funnel of blue flames out and incinerate everything underneath it. How we never died of carbon monoxide poisoning, probably because it was so drafty.
Get the bag.
Ever since I've known him, Jay'd always be the one saying everything would be all right, and I'd always be the one going along with him. He's still saying it, and I'm still going along with him.
Vitamin deficiency? Half fucking hard.
Only now, I know things will never be all right. All right is something that just never happens.
And what was the name of that pub that next to the Railway Club up there on the right? Oh, that was a Thieves' Kitchen, that was. It had a saloon bar And the saloon bar was only used for the people who wanted to sell all their stuff that they'd stolen. They actually used to lay it out there for you to buy.
You should get yourself a white cane.
I can see very well, thank you.
Come on. The first time I came up here, it was sunny, and it was warm, and there were kids on the street without shoes, and there were bicycles, you know, and there were flowers, you know, on the windowsills, and I just thought, this is not London, you know, this is some kind of, you know, hippie paradise.
There was a pub round the corner from the building. It was really run down. I mean, it was the most run down place. Even I couldn't stomach to sit in it. And occasionally they'd have this sort of sing-along session, and they'd all be blind pissed, and they'd be singing, "Every time I crunch."
You go right and then right again. Right.
Left and left.
That's quicker to go right.
Right.
It don't make no difference, does it?
No, it don't, does it?
All right. Go left and then left again. Right.
Or then again, you could go right and right.
Yeah, whatever. It's just over the back here.
See ya. Here, what's your name?
Wayne.
Oh.
What's yours?
Shirley. That's Cyril.
Pleased to meet you.
Hello.
Well, there you go then. Bye.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks.
Bye.
That's right, brother. Crept up on me, I'm afraid. Fortescue, can we talk somewhere, old chap? Somewhere away from the crowd? I mean, you do have a room? Or...
Yes, it's full of girls, my lord.
Yes.
They're painting it while I'm away. Here's probably as quiet as anywhere.
Yes, but...
Oh, girls, give us a couple of minutes, would you?
Yes, your reverence.
Louise, give us 2 minutes, would you, please? Now, what brings you down here? No, to talk.
They've all had to close missions because they can't get the girls.
Well, that's rather a feather in our cap, isn't it, my lord?
Well, it's the grounds of the complaints, I'm afraid.
£100 client, just do a couple of clients and I'd have my money. And then I'd go home and do the drugs at the end of the night.
What's this? It's my garden, innit?
Through there, look. St Paul's Cathedral. Yeah. Like a tit, isn't it?
Shut up.
Come and have a look at the trains.
Don't go too close. It's all right.
It's where Dad used to work, isn't it?
I know.
I know you know.
Do you want to go on a train?
Not today.
No, when it's warmer.
Where'd you like to go?
Into Margate.
You don't want to go there. We take you somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Ramsgate.
Allgate.
Harrogate.
Cowangate.
Watergate.
Do you want to sit down?
Over there, look. It's where you live.
Yeah, behind the gasworks.
Just the industrial atmosphere surrounding it. There was, from the buildings themselves, we were right opposite the gas holders, the famous gas holders in Pancras, one of which I believe still exists. You looked over the Baldwin's, which was a fruit and veg wholesaler, which was quite busy very early in the morning when we would frequently still be awake. And just the atmosphere of this kind of little bohemian bolt hole where nobody would expect to find it. I really liked that.
Camley Street is just over 2 acres of land directly behind King's Cross Station. Back in the 50s, 60s it was coal yards, and some of the older visitors to the park remember the coal yards and the horses and carts up and down the road.
I used to walk a lot along the canal and was very interested in the natural history of the canal. And when the site was abandoned, it was fenced off with corrugated iron, and I used to cross the canal and I used to get through the fence and have a look around. Actually, wastelands are wonderful for the diversity of plants and animals that develop there.
Camden Street was the product of a movement, the urban biodiversity movement that came out of the late 70s and the early 80s. It wouldn't have happened without that movement. But so much love was put into the creation of this space to turn a 2-acre derelict site into a nature reserve.
So the official opening was in May '85. And of course Ken Livingstone came along to open it. The headline in the Standard then, as far as I remember, was Red Ken's Safari Park.
That's it. Blank it all out till you just atrophy and die of fucking indifference. Can I show you something, pal? You see that at the top of your legs? That's your arse, right? And that's your fucking elbow. Do you want to write it down or... Ow! Ow! Who's that supposed to be, me dad? You want to watch that, mate? I've got a dicky cycling here. Shit. Can you come back here? Did I upset you? Hey! You got me back! You fucking tosser! You fuck! Listen, does anybody mind if I scream here? Is that okay with you? Because I'd feel better, but it won't take long. Ah! Ah! Fuck.
Hey!
Disturbance at King's Cross.
I remember those days used to be so frightening that my mum would be waiting, pacing up and down the corridors thinking, you know, it's 12:30 because my dad needs to come. The day he doesn't have a lift, my mum used to be in tender hooks to get my dad in, you know, in case he get attacked. And what I remember, my dad did get attacked once by a group of mobs outside waiting, and there used to be quite often stories about his friends being attacked whilst they're walking, you know, late at night, let's say 12:30, solely because of the skin colour.
And that?
He'll leave me here.
Where that St Pancras Road is where they used the carmen just go there with their carts, and you know where the trains used to come in and unload down below, where the coal merchant that they worked for, that would be his lot, and they'd have to shovel it into them black bags and load it onto their cart. You know, bloody 100 plates of coal, all black. Go and deliver it. And outside the basements of the houses was a hole. Have you seen them outside some days still to this day? That's where they were chipped down into the basement.
Morning, Frank. Morning, Stan. Got some news for you. What?
We had a ceremony of blessing of our marriage in St Pancras Old Church the week after we were married, and it is lovely. That church is an ancient site. There's been a church on there since, I can't think, isn't it something like 300 AD? It's astonishingly early, and the cemetery is lovely, really is beautiful. I can't imagine how amazing it must have been before they ploughed it all up for the railway. It covered a huge area and was fairly shocking, wasn't it? They were kind of knee-deep in bodies, and workmen kind of bodies, bits rising up out of the ground, and very kind of gruesome and Victorian.
This is my old bedroom up here. Yeah. There's mine, look. Oh, yeah.
I wanted curry and chips, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, a coincidence is one thing, you know, but this is a joke, isn't it? What are you doing here?
open top bus.
Ricky?
Plus they're seen men.
At King's Cross there's always something happening. Vans, cars, cabs, taxis, people.
Like the prostitutes and their customs were all passers-by, and that was the great thing about King's Cross. It was so full of passers-by all the time, people moving. There was another population of King's Cross that is often forgotten about, which were quite often a lot older people. The old flat cap and roll up hanging out the corner of the mouth Londoners, and women, you know, in sort of floral frocks and bouffant bleached hairdos and stuff. But these were people who'd lived there and probably had just watched it slowly go down the pan as the jobs had gone, as the importance of King's Cross as a freight depot had gone. You know, the whole area was distinctly run down.
There was no good having any idea, because there was nothing for you to do. There was no work. I don't believe it, but there was nothing.
King's Cross has changed significantly, whereas you don't feel like an outsider, you feel like part of the community, and you don't have to sort of fit in. You could be who you are and you'll be accepted.
Moving into the London Borough of Islington, we see Battlebridge Basin on the right, one of the major basins on the canal, once flanked by timber wharfs and sawmills, flour mills and a paper works. Here is Carlo Gatti's ice house, where he stored ice for the catering trade.
And there used to be lots of lorries come out from the stations, and we'd jump on the back of them and get a free ride, drop off when we got to the other end. And then we noticed that some of these lorries came at regular times, and they were lorries that had loaded up with goods coming out of the stations. One lorry came regularly out with a whole load of tins of biscuits, and another chap came out with a whole load of oranges. And so six of us used to clamber onto the lorry at the back, break into the boxes, steal whatever it was that was there, and get off at Drury Lane, had these things in a bag, which we brought back afterwards, and caught another lorry going the other way, which we also plundered before we got back to St Pancras Church again.
It's just not like it used to be, Charlie. I mean, we're working for a new breed. All those guns and violence. I mean, look at poor old Louis.
That was an accident. You're going to eat those French fries?
It's getting like America now. Ever since Case took over the firm. I mean, none of us ever used to carry guns. In the old days, when we nicked something, no one got hurt, and no one lost anything very much.
The insurance companies did.
Thing, your needle, whatever you call it.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm a professional.
I come here just to sit. It calms me down.
Look, I hope this doesn't sound rude or stupid, but, do you have a man?
You know, get away and walk down the canal. Me, because my husband would be out, I know, out drinking. And I used to get the girls, and they used to get on their bikes and ride along, and we'd go down the canal and just sit down there, because I love water. I love the sound of it. I love to just sit. It's just so relaxing for me. So I just used to take the kids up there, which was nothing for them, really. They enjoyed themselves riding up and down on their bikes and that, but I just used to go and sit down there and look at the dirty canal and, you know, just, when I think about it now, it's horrible. Just sitting there looking at the canal.
It reminded me of a Turner painting. It was smoke and steam everywhere, you know. Great whooshes of steam would shoot forward. And the station was so busy then